What I'm about to tell you might make you pause the next time you crack open an egg. Because for many people, something small, something as simple as eating eggs every day, can quietly influence your heart, your blood sugar, and even how your body ages, without you realizing it. And the truth is, most people don't notice the signs until much later. If you care about your health and want to understand what your body might be trying to tell you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people hear information that could genuinely make a difference in their lives. Now, let's talk about eggs. I've seen this happen too many times. A patient walks into my clinic, confident they're eating healthy. They've cut out junk food, they're avoiding sugar, and every morning, they're eating eggs. Sometimes 2, sometimes 4, every single day. They believe they're doing everything right, and in many ways, they are. Eggs are incredibly nutritious. They're rich in protein, packed with vitamins like B12, and contain important nutrients like choline, which supports brain health. For many people, eggs can absolutely be part of a balanced, healthy diet. But here's where it becomes more complex. What most people don't realize is that your body doesn't respond to foods in isolation. It responds based on your metabolism, your genetics, your existing health conditions, and even your age. So when you eat 4 eggs every day, your body begins to adapt in ways you may not immediately feel. For some, this can support muscle strength, stabilize appetite, and even help with weight management. But for others, it may quietly affect cholesterol levels, influence blood sugar patterns, and place subtle stress on the cardiovascular system over time. And here's the part that often surprises people the most. You might feel completely fine while all of this is happening. No pain, no warning, no obvious symptoms, just small internal changes, building slowly, day after day. So the real question isn't, are eggs good or bad? The real question is, what are eggs doing inside your body, specifically your body, when you eat them every single day? And that's exactly what we're going to uncover together. Let me tell you something most people don't expect to hear. Eating 4 eggs every day doesn't just add nutrition to your diet. It actively changes how your body processes energy, especially when it comes to blood sugar. And what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Many people assume eggs affect only cholesterol. But in reality, one of the most powerful effects eggs can have is on your blood sugar stability throughout the day. You see, eggs are naturally very low in carbohydrates and high in protein and healthy fats. When you eat them, especially in the morning, they slow down how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream. This means fewer sudden spikes and fewer crashes. For someone struggling with energy dips, cravings, or early signs of insulin resistance, this can feel like a huge improvement. You might notice you're not as hungry. You're not reaching for snacks as often. Your energy feels more steady. And that's where many people think, this must be perfect for me. But here's where we need to slow down and look deeper. I've seen this happen too many times. People rely heavily on one healthy food, and over time, they unintentionally create imbalance. When you eat 4 eggs daily, especially without enough fiber from vegetables or whole foods, your meals may lack the diversity your body needs to properly regulate blood sugar long term. Yes, eggs can help reduce spikes, but balance is still essential. Because your body doesn't just need stability, it needs flexibility. It needs a mix of nutrients that support your gut, your hormones, and your insulin response over time. And there's another layer most people don't realize. For some individuals, especially those already at risk for type 2 diabetes, diet patterns high in certain fats and low in plant-based fiber may be linked to reduced insulin sensitivity over time, not because eggs are harmful on their own, but because of what they replace in the diet. So if your plate becomes mostly eggs and very little else, your body may start missing key nutrients that help keep your metabolism balanced. And again, you may not feel this immediately. No warning sign, no alarm, just small shifts happening quietly in the background. That's why it's so important to understand not just what you're eating, but how consistently eating it every single day shapes your internal health. Because sometimes what feels like a healthy habit can slowly become an incomplete one, and your body always notices the difference, even when you don't. Now let's talk about something that concerns many of my patients, but very few truly understand: cholesterol. Because the moment people hear eggs every day, their minds go straight to one question: is this hurting my heart? And the answer isn't as simple as yes or no. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. For years, eggs were blamed for raising cholesterol and increasing the risk of heart disease. Many people were told to limit them strictly, but more recent research has shown a more nuanced picture. Eggs do contain cholesterol, especially in the yolk. In fact, eating 4 eggs daily means you're consuming a significant amount. But here's the key point most people don't realize: dietary cholesterol doesn't affect everyone the same way. In many healthy individuals, the body adjusts. When you eat more cholesterol, your liver may produce less to compensate. So for some people, eating eggs regularly doesn't dramatically raise their blood cholesterol levels. But, and this is very important, I've seen this go differently in others. Some individuals are what we call hyper-responders. Their bodies are more sensitive. When they consume higher amounts of cholesterol-rich foods, their LDL cholesterol, the type often linked to plaque buildup, can increase more noticeably. And here's where things become quietly risky. You don't feel high cholesterol. There's no pain, no fatigue that clearly points to it, no obvious warning sign. It builds silently over time, potentially affecting your arteries long before you ever notice something is wrong. That's why I always tell my patients, don't rely on how you feel. Rely on what you measure. If you're eating 4 eggs every day, your body might be handling it well, or it might be responding in a way that deserves attention. The only way to know is through regular blood work. And there's another layer that often gets overlooked. It's not just about cholesterol levels, it's about the type and balance. Eggs can increase HDL, often called the good cholesterol, which helps remove excess cholesterol from your bloodstream. So in some cases, the overall effect may actually support heart health. But again, context matters. What else are you eating? Are you pairing eggs with processed meats, butter, and refined carbs? Or are you combining them with vegetables, healthy fats, and fiber? Because I've seen this happen too many times. Eggs themselves aren't the issue, but the overall pattern quietly becomes one. And your heart responds to patterns, not just single foods. So before you decide whether 4 eggs a day is helping or harming you, there's something even more important we need to talk about next. Something that becomes even more critical as you get older. Let's shift your attention to something most people completely overlook until it starts affecting how they feel every single day: your aging process. Because what you eat consistently, especially something as frequent as 4 eggs a day, can quietly influence how your body ages from the inside. And I've seen this happen too many times. 2 people, same age, completely different energy levels, skin quality, muscle strength, even mental clarity. And when you look closer, their daily habits often tell the real story. Eggs, interestingly, can play both a supportive and a limiting role here. On one hand, they are rich in high-quality protein. This matters more than most people realize, especially after the age of 40. Your body naturally begins to lose muscle mass over time, a process linked to fatigue, slower metabolism, and even reduced stability. Eating enough protein can help support muscle maintenance, which in turn helps you stay active, independent, and metabolically balanced. Eggs also contain nutrients like choline, which supports brain function, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are linked to eye health. So yes, in many ways, eggs can support healthy aging. But here's the part that often goes unnoticed. Aging well isn't about repeating the same healthy food every day. It's about variety, balance, and giving your body a wide spectrum of nutrients it can't produce on its own. When someone eats 4 eggs daily, especially over long periods, there's a subtle risk of narrowing their nutritional diversity, and your body feels that over time. You may still be getting protein, but what about fiber for your gut? What about plant compounds that help reduce inflammation? What about the range of vitamins found in colorful vegetables, legumes, and whole foods? Because aging isn't just about strength, it's also about resilience. And resilience comes from diversity in your diet. There's another detail that's rarely discussed. Cooking methods. Fried eggs in butter or oil, especially at high temperatures, may introduce compounds that are linked to increased oxidative stress in the body. Over time, this can influence how your cells age and how your cardiovascular system responds. But gently cooked eggs, boiled or lightly scrambled, tend to preserve more of their beneficial nutrients without adding unnecessary stress. Small difference, big impact over years. So if you're eating eggs daily, the question isn't just how many. It's also, how are you preparing them and what are you pairing them with? Because healthy aging doesn't come from one good habit repeated endlessly. It comes from building a pattern your body can rely on, day after day, year after year. And there's one more piece to this puzzle that many people completely miss. Something happening deep inside your body that connects everything we've talked about so far. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your daily meals the same way again. There's something happening inside your body right now, something you can't see, can't feel clearly, but it influences nearly everything we've talked about so far. Your gut. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you, because most people don't connect eggs with gut health at all. But the truth is, what you eat every day doesn't just feed you. It feeds the trillions of bacteria living inside your digestive system. And those bacteria quietly influence your metabolism, your immune system, even your mood. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Eggs themselves are not harmful to your gut. In fact, they're generally easy to digest and can be a gentle source of protein for many people. But when you eat 4 eggs every single day, especially without enough fiber-rich foods alongside them, you may unintentionally limit what your gut bacteria need to thrive. Because beneficial gut bacteria rely heavily on fiber, the kind found in vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. Without enough of that, your gut environment can slowly shift. I've seen this happen too many times. Someone believes they're eating clean, eggs, maybe some toast, maybe meat, but very little plant diversity. Over time, they begin to experience subtle symptoms: bloating, irregular digestion, a feeling of heaviness after meals. Nothing extreme, nothing alarming, but enough to signal that something inside is slightly out of balance. And here's another layer most people don't realize. Egg yolks contain compounds like choline, which your gut bacteria convert into substances that, in high amounts, may be linked to cardiovascular stress in some individuals. Now, this doesn't mean eggs are dangerous. It means your gut plays a role in how your body responds to them. 2 people can eat the same 4 eggs and have completely different internal reactions based on their gut health. That's why focusing on just one food, even a nutritious one, can sometimes miss the bigger picture. Your body is an ecosystem. It needs balance. It needs variety. It needs support from multiple directions at once. So if eggs are a daily part of your routine, the real question becomes, are you also feeding your gut what it needs to keep everything else in balance? Because your digestion doesn't just affect how you feel after a meal. It affects how your body processes cholesterol, regulates blood sugar, and even how efficiently it absorbs nutrients. And when your gut is out of sync, the effects can quietly ripple through your entire body. Which brings us to something even more personal: how your body, specifically your body, might be reacting to this daily habit in ways you haven't fully noticed yet. Now I want you to think about something very personal. Not general advice, not what works for someone else, but what's actually happening inside your body. Because I've seen this happen too many times. People follow a routine that seems healthy. They feel fine for months or even years. And then subtle signs begin to appear. Not dramatic, not urgent, just small signals your body is trying to send. And when it comes to eating 4 eggs every day, those signals can look very different from person to person. For some, it might be a gradual change in energy levels. You wake up feeling slightly heavier than usual. Not exhausted, just not as sharp. By mid-afternoon, there's a dip you can't quite explain. For others, it shows up in digestion, a bit more bloating than before, a sense that meals sit longer in the stomach. Again, nothing severe, but noticeable if you're paying attention. And sometimes, the signs don't come from how you feel at all. They show up quietly in your lab results. A slight increase in LDL cholesterol, a change in triglycerides, maybe even early shifts in blood sugar markers that you wouldn't catch without testing. This is why I always emphasize something most people overlook. Awareness is more powerful than assumption. Just because something is considered healthy doesn't mean it's ideal for you in the same way, in the same amount, every single day. Your genetics, your lifestyle, your existing health, all of these shape how your body responds. Some people can eat eggs daily and maintain excellent health markers. Others may need to be more mindful with frequency or portion size. And there's no way to guess which category you fall into based on how you feel alone. That's the part many people miss. They wait for discomfort, for a clear warning, for something that forces them to pay attention. But your body often whispers long before it ever raises its voice. So if eggs are a regular part of your diet, don't just rely on habit. Pay attention to patterns. How do you feel after eating them consistently? Has your energy changed? Your digestion? Your overall sense of well-being? And just as importantly, when was the last time you actually checked what's happening internally? Because sometimes, the most important health decisions aren't about removing a food completely. They're about understanding your body well enough to adjust before small changes become bigger concerns. And that leads us to the question I know is on your mind right now. Should you keep eating 4 eggs a day? Or is it time to rethink that habit? So, should you keep eating 4 eggs every day? This is the moment where most people expect a simple answer. Yes or no, good or bad. But the truth is, your body doesn't work in extremes. And what I'm about to tell you might be the most important part of this entire conversation. Eggs are not the enemy. In fact, for many people, they can be a valuable part of a healthy diet. They provide protein that helps support muscle, nutrients that contribute to brain function, and they can even help you feel satisfied and reduce unnecessary snacking. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not about whether eggs are healthy. It's about whether 4 eggs every single day fits into a pattern that truly supports your long-term health. Because I've seen this happen too many times, people focus on one good habit so strongly that they stop paying attention to the bigger picture. And your health is always shaped by the bigger picture. If your meals are balanced, if you're including vegetables, fiber, healthy fats, and a variety of nutrients, then eggs, even regularly, may fit in without causing issues for many individuals. But if those 4 eggs are replacing other important foods, if your diet becomes repetitive, if your body starts showing subtle changes in energy, digestion, or lab markers, then it may be time to adjust, not out of fear, but out of awareness, because small adjustments made early can make a meaningful difference over time. For some people, that might mean reducing the number slightly. For others, it might mean changing how eggs are prepared or what they're paired with, adding vegetables, whole foods, and more balance to the plate. And for many, it simply means paying closer attention, listening to your body, checking your health markers, being willing to adapt instead of assuming. Because the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency in the right direction. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this. Don't just ask, is this food healthy? Start asking, is this habit supporting my body right now? That question alone can change everything. And if this made you think differently about something as simple as your daily breakfast, then it's already done something powerful. Take care of your body, because it's always paying attention, even when you're not.